So today I'm going to have to replace the wheel caliper on the passenger side of this 2001 Ford Excursion. These things are systemically bad. I mean, I get it all the time. I've had plenty of F-250s and stuff and the Excursions, even the Expeditions to some extent, but it's primarily the larger duty vehicles like this. As you can see, it's locked. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so here it is. So what we have to do now is we're going to go inside, we're going to turn the steering wheel all the way this way, and it's the bolt here on the caliper, not the bolt on the caliper holder now. So it's the bolt on the caliper. We're going to take the line loose here as well, but we'll break it loose and leave it in place while we remove this caliper bolt and the bottom caliper bolt. And the last thing we'll do is we'll break that off right before we get ready to put the caliper back on so that we don't lose any fluid and very little pressure. I'm going to start the car up, and we're going to turn the wheel to the left. Once we do that, we're going to shut the car off to let the steering wheel lock. It'll hold it there for us. Now, these bolts right here are 14 millimeters, so we're going to get a 14 millimeter wrench, but first we're going to take this off. As you can see right here, we're going to get a screwdriver and pop that loose to take that away from there. Okay? So we went inside and we turned the wheel as far as we could so we have access to these bolts a little easier. Plus, we were able to get this caliper out of the way. We're going to use a 17 millimeter socket to take this bolt out. This is a 21 if you were replacing this part, or even if you're putting brake pads on, sometimes people will take this apart, but you don't have to take that off. You take this bolt right here, that one, off. You put your 18 millimeter on there. I suggest getting a kind of a long ratchet, and then you break it loose. Oop, that's tightening. You break it loose the other way. And it ain't gonna give up easy. You break it loose, then you got a bottom one, which you can see right down here is one on the bottom. You gotta break that dude loose too. Once you get them loose, you can usually take them out by hand. There's one. And you can see this just spinning with one finger here. But if you get one that's rusted really bad, you might want to keep some of this on hand, which is what I do. I keep this on hand, and when I get done, I'm going to spray all this down with this. So now I've got the ABS line right here I have to deal with, and I can take this clip off. You can see it's just one of these clips that holds on right here. You can see how it's connected. So you clip this out, like that, and just lay it off to the side like that. Now, I want to show you something. See this? It ain't going anywhere. That thing is locked up. So getting this off here, we're going to have to use a pry bar and pry it off because we can't compress it. So unfortunately, this is some heavy duty stuff and it's going to want to be pried off of here. Being careful not to bend anything. I'm just going to let it sit right there. I'm going to unbox my new caliper and I'm going to put it on because the pads are new. So I'm going to unbox my new caliper and I'm going to put it on. Then I'm going to break the brake line loose and put it on there. So we're going to unbox this new caliper. These things are really heavy. As we can see, and you can see it comes with the bracket, right? So if we take this whole thing off of here, this whole bracket, we don't need to do that. The brake pads are already in there. They're working fine. So we're going to take this loose the same way we did that and simply use this. This is just a piece of metal. Now, if you didn't have new brake pads and you were installing new brake pads at the same time, it would then make sense to take that bolt and remove this whole piece off and put it on there. But like I said, it already has new brake pads. I'm going to use some WD-40 in these holes. To make sure when we put our screws back, it'll be in good shape. So, again, same technique is used here. We're just going to take these off. So, we have this caliper ready to go on there now. You can see we have a banjo bolt and 2 copper crush washers. We need to make sure we don't lose those. So I'm just going to leave them in there until I get all this bolted up, until I'm really ready to put that line on this. That's going to stay right there so I don't lose it anywhere. And this goes on there just like this. I had somebody ask me one time when I did this, why do I use a swivel-headed wrench? You saw I'm able to put it on like that, and when I need to tighten, I can bring the wrench up and use it to get the leverage for the torque I need. Now, if you want to use a torque wrench, you can. I kind of know by feel now. But the reality is, if you want to put about 40 pounds or so on this, you don't have to go crazy with it, maybe 50, because is just mating these two together, and it's really not going to go anywhere. Now, these also, another thing I want to kind of fall back on is I didn't show you on those bolts. There's a little Loctite on the end of the bolt when I put them in. Make sure they don't back out later. We're ready to take this out and put our brake line in. So we're going to use it's either 13 or 14. We're going to check it out. I think it's 13, but so we're going to take this out, and then we're going to take that off. So that as soon as we take that off, that caliper, which I'm actually going to set this caliper up here so I can work on it. Now some guys will go along, they'll try to crimp this line. That's not a good idea. I've seen it done. Bad idea. You mess the line up really bad. So best thing to do, you're going to lose some, you're going to have to bleed it no matter what you do. But the reason I left this line on there was I don't want it to drain the entire line out. By doing it the way I did it, there'll only be minimum loss because I'm only going to go from there and I'm going to bolt it right back on here right away. Okay? So let me get a 13 millimeter and take this one off and put it on there. Okay, so we're back. You can see that's the 14 millimeter. I said that earlier, didn't I? Probably not. And that's what we're going to use to take this screw off. So take this guy off, the banjo bolt that came with your new caliper. All right, press it down once and hold it. Got it? Okay, pump it. See, now there's no air coming in it. So we're going to tighten that up. Now we're going to test the brakes, right? So we can't move them. Okay, let off. And now we can turn it. See? Hit it. Stops. Let off. Problem solved. So let's hook this back on there so it doesn't just freewheel around and go where it wants to go. And that's it.